Hello folks, this is a guide to do the Mirror Maiden Tavern Challenge and get all 3 objectives. The hardest objective here is to win without losing a single character, so we'll build a deck around that. And the deck I'm using will have the 3 characters that you start with. I'm only picking the starter characters because some folks might have invited other characters already and I don't want to restrict the strategy. First, I'll show this deck in action and provide commentary on why I'm doing certain moves. And then afterwards, I'll show some very useful cards to help you beat the 2 Mirror Maidens without losing a character. My initial goal is to have Kaya use his elemental skill to provide cryo, then switch to Sucrose and use her ult so I can get a constant cryo going while Diluc finishes off the enemy. These Mirror Maidens hit hard and they have a passive that buffs their elemental skill. Their skill normally does 3 hydro damage and it makes you take extra hydro damage for 2 rounds. The buff they get increases the duration from 2 rounds to 3 rounds and also makes it more expensive to switch characters. So first off, I'm going to apply cryo on the enemy so I can swirl it with Sucrose. And also make sure to click the top right button to see the enemy's moves coming up. This will help you a lot. And after casting one elemental skill, I'm going to use the rest of my energy to set up my cards for later on. I got lucky with Paimon as well as extra energy when I swapped to Sucrose. And you should not switch characters on the first turn. Kaya is here to soak up all the debuffs, so I can swap out of him when he's low and waste the enemy's turns. Now the second turn begins and I have some support cards on the field. The next move shows the Mirror Maiden is going to use its elemental skill, and I don't want that debuff on Sucrose, so I make sure Kaya will survive the extra damage, then I'm gonna just stay on Kaya, apply cryo again before I switch to Sucrose. Now that he's down to 1 health and took all the debuffs, I want to swap out of him before he dies. I am playing Ellen here to let Diluc do more damage in 1 turn later on. Anyway, now my goal is to have Sucrose use her ult. So either use her skill or attack to get enough energy, and then use her burst. I like to end my turns early if I can in order to go first on the round so I won't get surprise nuked by the maidens. Since I have a lot of energy here and still prepping for Diluc, I use Kokomi to see what else I can play because I only need 3 energy for Sucrose. Now that I have used her burst, I am set for Diluc to do the sweep. Use your future sight to let Sucrose take as much damage as she can before switching to Diluc since you don't want him to die. Now it's pretty much over. I just need enough Pyro for Diluc to attack twice. Now that I have lots of energy for Diluc, I equip a weapon for him to do extra damage, and then I use his elemental skill to do 4 damage for the kill. And with the help of Ellen and the buff elemental skill, the next one costs 1 Pyro only, but that doesn't really matter because I still have lots of energy to spare. So that's the main trick on this. Your early turns matters a lot. You want to have your first character be the sponge to take up most of the hits before switching to the next one. Your first character will most likely not have time to use their burst, so do not depend on that. Now let's go over some of the useful cards in this deck. Out of the 3 buffed abilities, I only choose Diluc since Kaya is definitely not going to get a 4 cost attack out, and I don't really need Sucrose to do that much extra damage either. The only important weapon is for your finisher, the other 2 doesn't matter since they are there to soak up damage. Artifacts are also to help my finisher, which is Diluc. The Leeway Harbor is a very good card. It lets you draw extra to give more plays, and I recommend it for every single deck. Same with Paimon. This card lets you store some energy up front in order to spend it later on. And Wagner the Blacksmith is to help me get my weapons out easier. Timmy and Libin for extra energy. Ellen to help out Diluc do a nice sweep. These 2 helps a lot to give Sucrose extra energy if you happen to draw him early. And Iron Tongue Chain helps you get more energy as well. Mini Paimon also helps in case you get unlucky with your dice rolls. Rosaria is always a nice card since it saves you a dice from switching. Same with Kokomi. Having the card advantage is very helpful in almost every card game. And finally, here's some food that will help you survive. The Lotus Flower Crisp reduces damage by 3, and since the Mirror Maidens hit so hard, there are plenty of chances to use this correctly. The Hash Browns help heal some health in case of emergencies, and the Minty Meat Roll is for Diluc to sweep in case you don't have enough Pyro energy for his elemental skill. Another card that can help this specific fight is the Dawn Winery to help reduce switching costs, but if you use my strategy to stack all the debuff on the first character, you won't really need the Dawn Winery. Anyway, that's my little guide on beating the pair of Mirror Maidens and getting all 3 challenge objectives. Let me know what overpowered decks you have used to beat the Mirror Maiden challenge. Personally, I am really enjoying my Yoimiya and Xingqiu team. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and have fun out there, traveler.